All right, Borderlands is back, and in a big way. We're standing in front of what I may well be the biggest statue here at E3 with Anthony. Ragged from Borderlands 2. Anthony, thank you very much indeed for taking the time to talk to us today. How are you this fine, sweltering E3?
I'm good. Most interesting answer you ever had to that question, I'm sure.
No. But, all right. Can you sort of give us a little bit of background about what you guys are showing on the E3 show floor?
Yeah, we are out here on the exterior. We're showing the Caustic Caverns, which is an area that's full of a lot of our new creatures. And inside we're showing the City of Opportunity, which is a Hyperion-run city that's built by the antagonist of the game, Handsome Jack. We've got an escort mission that we're showing off that's got some really cool stuff in it.
And how have you guys approached Borderlands 2? I mean, first one, massive success, almost cult classic almost. It sounds awful to say it, but cult classic I think is a lovely way of saying a game that really had a very strong, very dedicated audience. You come back to the second one. What improvements do you guys want to make with it?
Well, we wanted to take everything that everybody liked in the first game and basically double it. So everybody liked the guns in the first game, obviously, and rather than just keeping the guns that were there, we redid the entire system, scrapped it all, and then rebuilt it from scratch. So the guns you'll see in this game, actually every single gun looks different from every other gun. They fire completely different. So you can get a Torg shotgun, and all Torg guns fire explosive rounds. So you'll shoot, you'll just shoot the ground in front of a bunch of skags. Every single pellet will explode, and the skags will just evaporate in red mist. And we'll have like Jacob's guns that are more Old West gunfighter type guns that fire as fast as you pull the trigger and stuff like that. We also took a lot of the criticism of the first game on board, so things like level variety. So now instead of just desert, we have snow, we have grass, we have desert, we have the Hyperion city that we're showing indoors. We've got much more story integration with the main actual gameplay. It's not just something that's relegated to mission text at the beginning and end of every mission. It's something you're going to be experiencing as you go throughout the whole thing. And
well, we've already went hands-on with a couple of the characters, a couple of the cast already. Today, I mean, for myself, I had to go with Zero. I think it's just absolutely cool look character and everything like that. Great skill set. How are you guys approaching the cast this time around?
Well, in terms of the player characters, the idea was basically make sure each one of these guys appeals to sort of a different group of people that have a different sort of action hero kind of fantasy. Zero is the sort of the Snake Eyes, Gray Fox, cool ninja, sort of maybe robotic, maybe not kind of thing. Maya is sort of our wizard, our mage kind of thing. Axton's your bread and butter, modern warfare type, just soldier dude. And Salvador's the going guns blazing, Rambo, don't think ever, just shoot things kind of mentality, and sort of finding ways that all of them actually have depth to their action skills. So like the Zero that you play, the character Zero that you played, he's got his deception mode where he can go invisible, and that actually has all different kinds of uses. You can be a sniper with him from long range, get people to attack your clone at long range, and then take him out, or be in real close with your samurai sword essentially, and just get everybody to attack your decoy, and then just dart from enemy to enemy, just slashing them in the back and killing them and doing ridiculous amounts of damage that way.
Now, the demo we had hands-on with there had narrated by Claptrap, and basically very sort of slightly sarky but very, very humorous sort of style to it. Is that just in Borderlands' DNA to keep that sort of element to it with the sequel?
Yeah, that's sort of been one of the fun sort of challenges of working on Borderlands, is that, like you said, it's in its DNA is to be funny, because it's a game about shooting psychos with shotguns that fire lightning. Like, it's an inherently kind of just fun, over-the-top game that doesn't take itself seriously. But at the same time, we want to keep some of that, the badass flavor and still make you feel like a cool guy as you're going through, so that it's not all just goofy, you can't take anything seriously. So that's been the sort of fun of balancing between those two things, so yeah.
And how about who you're facing against? Because Handsome Jack? Handsome Jack. Handsome Jack also, with the demo we saw, you're destroying some of his statues. He's getting a little bit obviously texty about the whole thing, but his reactions are so angry but so hilarious at the same time. I know. What have you? How have you approached that? Is it a symbiosis between you writing the script and the voice actors? How does that work?
It started, we knew very early on that we wanted to make a very villain-centric game. Something that, where the guy was always going to be heckling you and always going to be digging into you and making you really want to get to the end of the game and put a bullet in his head. But at the same time, like we said, Borderlands is sort of a funny kind of an experience. So it was really important to me that we have a villain that is somebody that you hate, want to get rid of, but that also you're kind of looking forward to hearing more of him. Even if he's just taunting you and saying what a dick you are, you still enjoy hearing the stuff he has to say. And so I'm really glad to hear that you found him funny, because that was Yeah, that was.
It's one of those things, obviously, because you have a central villain that you're not going to see for the majority of the game, so there has to be some sort of access between you and between the player and that guy. So those sort of like audio conversations really work in the favor.
Yeah, no, totally. We did a lot of work to make sure that he's constantly reminding you, hey, I'm the bad guy, I'm the end boss, like letting you know he's around. And not only that, but our art team did a great job of sort of working his influence everywhere. When you look up into the sky and you see the big Hyperion H on the moon.
I have to say, I love that. I love that visual cue, especially when he's dropping stuff down.
Yeah.
He's like, you've destroyed too many statues here. Screw you, and you actually see this fireball.
Yeah, it's the way our art team and our level design team have sort of made it feel like this guy took over this planet. This used to be the rough and tumble Borderlands, and it's still a harsh place, but you can sort of see his influence creeping all over the different areas you're in. And
I've also got to ask, given that the trailer's flashing up behind us, was it you that came up with the joy puke thing?
No, not at all. That was Mikey Newman, the guy he wrote the first game and he did the trailer for that. And yeah, all the coolness of the trailer, those little lines and stuff, the wub wub, all that. He's a big dubstep guy, so that's all Mikey Newman.
I assume the game's on its last stretch, perhaps, in terms of the writing anyway.
Yeah.
How do you feel? Do you feel satisfied with what you've done with it?
I feel terrified. It's the first game I've ever written, so it's absolutely terrifying for me as the writer. But I mean, just for me as somebody who's playing the game, after I finished doing all the writing, I got to just sit down and play the game. I've beaten it about 4 times now with each of the different characters, and I have the utmost confidence that this is going to be very well received. It's just so friggin' fun.
I was going to ask about that in terms of the feedback and in fact, the internal development process where you guys are testing. Is some lines perhaps that you've written that you think that's great, and then when you hear it actually in the game, the context doesn't quite work and you need to adjust? Is there still fine-tuning in that sort of aspect?
Oh yeah, we absolutely. We actually recently had when we started out, the original these 4 characters had no backstories at all. We were just like, well, nobody cared about the backstories in the first game of the original 4 Vault Hunters, so we'll just do that again and it'll be fine. And we had focus testers come in and be like, where are the backstories of these characters? I want to know who I am. This makes no sense to me if I don't know. So we did some work actually kind of late in the process, but managed to squeeze in a bunch of really cool echo logs you can find, audio logs you can find that explain who they are, why they're here, and all that kind of stuff. And it was great to have focus testers that can help us pinpoint these things that are missing or jokes that aren't working, jokes that go too far that we can cut back on and stuff like that. And yeah, we're still even like finding, does this joke really need to be there? It's a little bit weird, and so yeah.
Would you want to continue writing these characters?
Oh, absolutely, without question. Borderlands is such a fun franchise to write for because it's so rare. Like, you never really get somebody being like, oh, you know what, that was too over the top. Really, in the game where I made a guy's head explode because I just looked at him funny, that was too over the top. Like, it's you can be as dark as you want to because it's a harsh game, and you can be as funny as you want to because it's a game that doesn't take itself terribly seriously.
What's next on the cards for you, mate?
Oh gosh, I don't know. that's what I do this and I go back and then just sort of stare at my computer and feel useless because the writing's done. I don't know. I'll find out.
Vacation time, I feel. Feed up, relax, perhaps?
Sure. I'll play a lot of Diablo or something.
Okay. Listen, thanks very much indeed for taking the time to talk to us. Cheers.